Welcome to the channel. I'm Tony the Technician. Today we're going to be going into the Amazon tool deals that I've found for this week, and I really hope you guys enjoy. These are going to be items that are either on sale, items that even at their full price or list price I believe to be good deals, or items I find interesting would like your guys' input on if you guys have used them. So I will have all of these products linked down in the description for you guys with their own independent link so you guys can easily find it. And then I'll have two additional links that take you to a long list of tools that I've went over in the past or other tools that I suggest. So that's all there for you guys. First up, we're looking at the Sunex Tools 3338 impact socket set. This is a 3/8 drive set. It is 12 point. It's metric and they are semi-deep. So this 13-piece set is going to include 7 through 19 without skipping a size. Like I said, they are semi-deep or mid-length sockets. They're not quite shallow. They're not quite deep well. And I find this length to be extremely handy. And if you don't have a set of semi-deep sockets, look into them. They can be extremely handy. These are impact sockets and they are 12 point. I know it's not for everybody, but this is at under $30 from a typical price of basically $34. So when you see typical price and you get a sale off of that, that's when you're usually getting a good deal. When you see list price and a discount off of that, you're usually getting a deal, but not quite as good of a deal as you might think, because most of the time those items never actually sell at that full list price. So when you see typical price and a discount off of that, that's when you're usually coming across a pretty decent deal. So I figured I would still include this. Sunex is one of my go-to brands when it comes to impact sockets. They make a really good impact socket for a really good price. They have a lot of different variations and offerings out there. So if you guys haven't checked them out and you're looking for a good quality impact socket set that doesn't break the bank, Sunex is definitely one of them to consider. And even though this is 12 point, if you're looking for a 12 point set, I think this is a good size set for 3/8 drive. And it falls right between your shallow and deep well. This has 4.8 stars at 306 ratings, and that's about it. There's not a whole lot else that they cover on this. They are chromoly. You can see they're laser etched and they're stamped with sizes, and they are made in Taiwan, and they come in a little organizer, and that's basically it. Next up is a product that I've used for years. Basically, all of the vehicles I've ever owned, I've always either built, rebuilt, modified. I do a lot of electrical, and this is some of my go-to stuff when it comes to wiring. I hate the plastic shrouding that they use because over time, heat and age, those things just become brittle, and sometimes they can be a pain to install or remove, especially when they're brittle. They just fall apart. Sometimes they're wrapped in tape and it's just a mess. This stuff is extremely easy to install and remove if necessary. You can also run wires out at different directions because this is the split loom. You can get it solid without the split. If you're doing full wiring and you don't have ends on, then you can simply slide the sleeving on. I like this because if I ever need to make changes, it's extremely easy to get into. It's also a good protection for the wires. I'll get into that in just 1 minute. This does have 4.7 stars, 62,142 ratings, so rated very highly and rated a lot. This is Alex Tech. This one specifically is the 25-foot 1/4 inch. The 1/4 inch is the size or diameter, and it does expand and contract depending on how many wires you have inside of it. I keep this stuff on hand in different sizes at all times. My Camaro, I completely redid the wiring on all of it, and it is all redone in this, and it was so much better than dealing with that plastic shrouding stuff or the plastic sleeving, whatever you want to call it. But as you can see down here, this is just some of their different offerings in different diameters and lengths that you can get it in. It's very affordable. This is $14 for 25 feet of the 1/4 inch, and you can get it in various different colors. You can get it in the black and red, the white, and depending on the size or what link you click on, you can get it in different colors as well. I usually do the black or the red and black because that's actually the color schemes on my car, so it matches really, really well. So there you can see you just kind of open it up and slide it on, and with it being able to wrap around itself, it kind of snugs itself up on the cable. Now obviously, if you have 1/2 inch wire loom on a 20 gauge wire, it's not going to snug up around it. But if you're using the proper size for the amount of wiring or the size wiring that you're working with, it is very, very clean. There you can see it used on a few different types of cables and wiring setups. And of course, the most important thing is cats don't like chewing this cord protector and will leave it alone. Good to know. Good to know. There you can see you can cut it simply with a pair of scissors. You can heat it at the ends to keep it from fraying. I don't really have an issue with it fraying unless you overexpand, like if you have the non-split loom and you overexpand it trying to open it up over wires, then it will kind of start to come apart. Most of the time you don't do that. And with the split loom, it's very, very rare. I haven't had any issues with it. And when I'm putting it on, if I haven't de-pinned a connector, and so like this, since it's split loom, I don't have to usually de-pin a connector to slide it on. I can just simply slide it on over the wiring, and if the connector is on there, then I will simply throw a small zip tie at the end just to kind of keep it there. If I have a new wiring harness that I'm working on, then I'll install it and I'll put just a little sleeve of heat shrink on there and heat shrink it down, holds it in place beautifully, and it looks really nice and clean. The operating temperature of this is a negative 103 degrees Fahrenheit to 257 degrees Fahrenheit. It does not melt until almost 450 degrees at 446 degrees. So even next to an engine, I don't have to worry. I run this all over in the engine bay. Haven't had an issue yet, and just works really well. So if you guys have used this, please let me know your guys' thoughts. Once again, this is one of the brands that I go to. There are many other brands out there that sell, similar things, but this is one that I've just used before and had good experiences with. So this is usually the one that I go back with. So here we're looking at a product from Klein Tools. It's been out a little while now, or at least I want to say I saw it maybe close to a year ago. It could be older than that, not 100% sure. This is not a tool that I have, but I do have the Knipex pliers wrench as well as the Cobras. And with this design from Klein, they've kind of introduced both features into one pair of pliers, which I find interesting. I think it could be a great tool for certain occupations, depending on the work that you do. I absolutely love the pliers wrench. I put off buying the pliers wrench because I thought they were just kind of like a unnecessary tool, even though I absolutely love Knipex tools. I think they make fantastic pliers. I didn't really think the pliers wrench was something that I needed. I have an adjustable wrench. I have pliers. Why would I need that? Until I got a pair. I got a really good deal on one, decided to pick it up, and boy, they are fantastic. Very little pressure holding the handles. You can apply a lot of pressure to a fastener or whatever you're working with. It's very, very handy. These are the pliers wrench from Klein Tools, high leverage multi-use pump pliers with adjustable and reversible double-sided jaw, smooth and knurled teeth. This is the 10-inch pair at $42.43, the list price of $50, so a little bit of savings here. This has 4.7 stars at 307 ratings. But looking at these, this is kind of the design of the pliers wrench. When you just have a smooth flat jaw here and here, it works just like an adjustable wrench without the unnecessary spinning of the wheel. And you get really good bite with how the handles are designed and the jaws. So with this, how it differs is you can actually rotate this bottom jaw. It comes off, you can flip it over, and then you have knurled teeth for the bottom jaw. So there you can see it there. It kind of looks pretty crazy, like Predator or something. I don't know. Maximum versatility with 2-inch max jaw opening, 20 adjustment points, made in the USA with global components. Parallel jaw and V jaw for dual function. There you can kind of see their push button design where you actually push here to adjust instead of pushing on the backside of the spring mechanism. You push down here. So a little bit different design there. Don't hate it. Nothing wrong with that. I love the adjustability of it. There you can see removing the bottom jaw. You're able to flip it over. And this is where the flat jaw really comes in, is for holding fasteners like this. I feel like where the knurled jaw or the teeth are really going to shine is something like this, where you're biting into just a round pipe of some sort. Maybe you're trying to put something on the end and trying to hold the pipe from spinning, or you're trying to put something onto the pipe and get a good bite on it. Obviously, two flat jaws aren't going to do a fantastic job holding something completely round. So I think that's really handy. You kind of get two pliers in one, and two very popular styles of pliers. So I definitely find this interesting. I know when it first came out, or the first time I heard about it, it was kind of mixed reviews. Some people thought it was kind of gimmicky. They didn't like how the jaw came off. But so far, it seems like a majority of people have really enjoyed it. Once again, this has 4.7 stars at 307 ratings at $42.43, down from $50. Please let me know your guys' thoughts on this. Would you buy something like this, or would you stick with like Cobras and a pliers wrench? if you use both styles of pliers. We are looking at the Irwin countersink drill bit set. This is for metal. This is the 5-piece set. There you can see the part number. This has 4.7 stars with 1,675 ratings, so rated highly and rated quite a bit. This isn't on sale. It's at $26. You can catch it on sale sometimes around $22, $23. That's about the best I've seen it. But if you do or plan on doing any countersinking work, these can be extremely handy. Or maybe you've never used them before, because when you look at some countersink drill bits, they can get quite expensive. You don't want to go extremely cheap with these types of drill bits, because if you do, they dole out and then they just kind of make a mess of everything. But now, if you're doing this every day or every week or something like that, obviously you're going to want to step up to a good quality, much higher priced drill bit. But if you're a weekend warrior, DIYer, or even in the automotive field, you're not going to find yourself countersinking a whole lot. There are specific occupations where you will. Like when I was in drag racing, we countersunk a lot of fasteners, and these are fantastic. Now, these ones are for metal. They do make them for different materials as well. But being able to have a flush fastener can just make for a clean, nice product, whatever you're working on. Like when I installed my hood pin mechanisms, they're countersunk, so it's flush with the top bracket. They're not just fasteners sitting on top, you know. So there are definitely scenarios where countersinking can be a huge improvement, not just in appeal, but race applications specifically. You don't want just random bolts and stuff sticking out. And there are many different scenarios where these are handy, but that's primarily where I use them. If I'm mounting anything on the exterior of a body, I don't want, you know, just bolt heads sticking out, things like that. And while these aren't top of the line, they're also not extremely cheap. They should hold up just fine. For any weekend warrior, DIYer, you get a decent selection of different sizes, and it doesn't break the bank at $26. They're rated pretty dang high. So let me know your guys' thoughts. If you guys do a lot of countersinking or have done countersinking, do you guys have a preferred brand that you guys go with? These do have a cutting angle of 82 degrees. You can get them at different angles. Obviously, you need to figure out what fasteners you're using to buy the right countersinking drill bits so they match. Otherwise, you kind of end up with a funny shaped cone and your fastener doesn't sit down in there correctly. But 82 degrees is a pretty common one for countersunk fasteners. 5-flute design to reduce vibration. If you put too much pressure on these going too fast, then they can chatter or kind of shake a little bit. So you just need to be nice and steady with it with just a decent amount of pressure, and you shouldn't have a problem. But like I said, you can get very, very cheap ones of these, and you can also get very, very expensive ones. I think this is a good middle-of-the-road one. Here's just a little bit of information on it. But that is it as far as this week's Amazon tool deals. Please let me know your guys' thoughts on these items down in the comments. Once again, all of these will be linked down in the description for you guys, as well as those 2 additional links. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to smash that thumbs up. And if you haven't, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.